And those are all perfectly edible.
Perfectly edible, in fact, gourmet. These are one of the most sought after mushrooms on the planet, and we're really, really privileged to find them here. Now I'm on video, I'm not even going to say where the course is today, because you'd probably have a bunch of foragers turning up here in the next few days as soon as I post it. This is one of the Yellow Morels. We've got two sides to the Morel family in the UK. You've got the Black Morels and the Yellow Morels. The Yellow Morels can actually be quite black, but there's a difference in the structure of this brain-like cap. I'll use this big fella here as my example. You can see that the honeycomb structure on this one is very irregular. If this was a black morel, the honeycomb would be in ladder-like structures.
Oh, wow.
So that's how you know you've got one of the yellow morels over one of the black morels. But the black morels can fade to slightly yellow, and some of the yellow morel clade can be quite black. So this is the Morchella esculenta side. Now, this mushroom does have some very dangerous lookalikes in the UK. Most importantly, hello! the most important one to know about is one called the false morel, the Gyrometra esculenta, which is a highly toxic, potentially even deadly mushroom. So I'm going to show you how to tell the difference between the morels and the false morels. The true morels are all entirely one structure. In fact, I'll show you that right now. Whereas the false morel, for a start, from the outside, would be much more lobed and brain-like. Whereas this one, you can see ridges like honeycomb, much deeper indentations. Now, if I just cut this one in half, I'll show you what I mean by all one structure. The cap is not separate from the stem, but you can only really see that when you cut it in half. There's no separate cap. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now with the false morel, if you were to cut a false morel in half, it would be pocketed on the inside. So it wouldn't be all one structure. There'd be little holes and pockets all the way through the mushroom. That's how you tell the difference between this one and the Gyrometra. There's another one that's quite similar, but that one has a disattached cap which actually attaches at the top, so it hangs down on either side. That one's called the Verpa conica, and there is and that one's, it's not dangerous, that one, it's just a lookalike, not highly toxic. In fact, I think it might even be classed as edible, or at worst inedible. There is a type of black morel where the cap hangs semi-free, a little bit away from the stem, but the stem is still one entirely hollow structure from top to bottom, as you can see with these. Now, this one is the prize of the family. The big yellow morel is the one that tastes the best as far as I'm concerned. It's a mushroom that has hints of bacon to the flavour. And it's a texture unlike other mushrooms, which means that you can actually freeze these. So people buy morels frozen. So when you pick them, if you pick a bit too much, which, you know, we remember the picking limits, 1.5 kilos. So if you can't get through your 1.5 kilos of morels, if you're lucky enough to find that much, you can stick them straight in the freezer. Whereas other mushrooms turn into mush when you freeze them and then defrost them. Truly sought after. I'd say probably third in price on the edible scale, behind the truffles and the porcini. But for any forager in Britain, you'd prefer to find this than a porcini, just because they're so much rarer. This is something that I know people who have been foraging for 10 years or more and they've never found. So all of you guys that are out on your first foraging experience today are getting a bit of a highlight here, and I hope you're all going to enjoy eating these as much as I'm going to. So morels, key thing with this family, hollow in the middle. We're in the middle of the season now. The season's March through April, and if you're lucky, early May. So they're a spring mushroom when not much else is around. That's your morels. The Morchella esculenta clade, because there's a few on the yellow side of the morel family. There you go. Right, well, we've got a few. Can we just show the little haul to the camera? There we go.
We most likely find them in a meadow.
And many more. Yeah, they're this one actually. Good point. This one, the habitat is grassland and mixed sort of waste ground as well. The black ones grow in a little variety of places. So the black ones will mainly grow in wood chip. If you're finding the Morchella importuna, the common or the main black morel, but then there's another species, the semi-free morel, which grows with ash trees. People say they find them on old where there's been fires near to orchards and things like that. So the black ones tend not to come back in the same place, the wood chip morels, because they're basically shipped in on the wood chip. And then once they've used that wood chip, they've got nothing else to do. Whereas these ones will keep coming back in the same place every year. So that's why we're not telling you guys where this is. You said there's 3 more. Where?
Yeah, on the ground.
Oh, yeah. Great. There's one on my foot. Well, I think we've probably got enough now for us all to have a little taste of these, and we'll leave the rest. Okay, there you go. You can stop filming that now.